The 4 stages of poisoning. Have you ever watched the sickening of a flawless love? The way it poisons itself impales what was once pure and pulsating like a crimson clutch of flowers deprived of water, a slow languishing and wilting. How a what if can turn itself into the darkest of self-fulfilling prophecies. It looks like a mother's worries in the middle of the night, the same ones her children and her chosen husband dismissed as irrational. The way Gaia fretted and paced sleepless, each footstep closer to doubt after doubt that had begun to plague her. She was with the child again, forever fertile and a giver. And Uranus, insatiable, could not stop taking. He wanted to fill the world with Titan children who looked like they had been forged in gold, who could invent elements and read water and the universe. To Uranus, piety and family looked like this and this alone, but inside Gaia's womb there grew something different, something he would not understand. All she ever wanted was healthy children. It did not matter if they had skin of gold or sand or stone. 2. It looks like a father who places the weight of the impossible on his wife and children's shoulders. Nothing but perfection will do. Power blurs the lines between father and overlord sometimes. And Uranus is father to the pristine heavens and all the skies. And if the skies have never failed him in their beauty, there are clouded risings and fallings, and nothing else is allowed to either. Not even Gaia, his love, his creator, his everything. 3. It looks like the shattering of every illusion, the pulling apart of smoke and mirrors to reveal the naked truth, where the person you once loved turns into a stranger from whence you once knew. Gaia's newest children are different from their Titan brothers and sisters, far more powerful but also petrifying to look at. For all her long and painful birthing to them of them, they are her medal, her reward. 3 one-eyed cyclopses and 300-handed, 50-headed hecatones. Gaia sees no difference. She dotes on them from the moment they are born, but their father takes a single look at their tiny arms reaching for him and utters words no parent ever should. You are too hideous to belong in the world of the living. You should live with the dead. Words are so unnatural that once spoken they lead to a splitting of the fabric of the earth, revealing the molten innermost sanctum of the hell. He tears each wriggling, crying bundle from their exhausted mother's arms, where she still lies bleeding from childbirth, and whilst she screams in shock and fury, trying to scramble to her feet, he flings their new infants into Tartarus, one after the other. And as the skies gray with the harshest of his storms, he looks at her defeated form coldly, turns on his heels, and leaves. It looks like something beyond death itself, for the aftermath of an act of such an intense cruelty cannot be captured in words. Gaia weeps alone over what can never be undone, the earth quaking as her swollen body racks with painful, inconsolable sobs. I promise you one day he will pay, she vows to her screaming, burning children in red. Angry Tartarus, as she lifts a furious face to the heavens, one day the sky will fall. Frequently the poisoning looks mortal, but occasionally it takes on the malevolent face of the divine. They were so very close to what could have been perfection, yet their love rotted too, like ripened fruit left for too long in the storms and sunshine. The unloved ungods, hecatones. All children were born equally innocent, but all children are not born equally loved. Even with a mother who was earth and a father sky, a meeting between soil below and rain from above, nothing could save you from being misunderstood. Your monstrous existence challenged your father's fragility in the worst way. He paced the night of your birth, muttering about how he had fathered titans and gods, and you with your 100 hands, 50 heads, you were an abomination in his eyes, even as children. No one ever told him monsters aren't simply born, monsters are made by those who nurture them. So when you reached for him and he flinched away, he had decided for you and your fate was sealed. Is there a word for when a father destroys his children? Is there a name for the anguish of a mother who becomes venom? You had 50 heads and 100 hands. You could barely walk and he still sentenced you to hell. No wonder you were angry. No wonder you raised yourself with rage. And when you get the bones of a chance, you took the hand of the enemy against your own family and learned hatred so well. You taught gods how to dance to the songs of hell. A Titan sisterhood. We built an island where we were young. We hid it away where no one could find it. Carved it in secret inside the Aegean Sea. Whispered it to each other in secret. While our brothers feuded our kingdoms with each other, we stole away together. The 6 of us walked into the water, which parted for us so we could stroll along the sea floor. Tethys found where the salt water met, and Rhea nurtured the earth until it gave us lilies, and Thea plucked the moon from the sky, and Phoebe clapped her hands, and radiance abounded. On this island of ours was their light forever. Listen, this is a way of sisters. We know how to love each other, and we do not need to speak to know the vastness of emotion between us, and this is ours. We'll tell each other fiercely, ours and not theirs, and we will protect it. From their greedy gazes, so Mnemosyne is the one who is entrusted with remembering, while Themis charms our minds so we forget, for this is the only place we are not trembling, where it does not matter if we are women or goddesses or Titanides meant to be celestial maps, where we find each other by the water, where we lay our heads in each other's laps, where we learn what to call this bond, whilst the palm trees whisper to us, home, call yourselves home. What it means to be a forgotten magic maker, oracle, Asteria. When she was born, pale, gleaming, constellations woven through her hair, the cosmos clear in her liquid eyes, her father's gentle prophetic voice blessed her to be the mother of falling stars and nocturnal prophets. There was no warning about how painful it was to tell a star of its own ending, a girlhood spent telling exquisite things that it is their time to die. The heartache in being goddesses of prophecy meant to be able to read only dark tea leaves in her own divination and still try to love wholly and without restriction. Wife of the god of destruction, mother to goddess of necromancy, and still those arrogant Olympians only saw her as spoils of war, as less than even human. They shall not have her, even if they imprison her husband. She handed her daughter over to Styx, asked her to turn her child Chthonic forever, make her a being to fear, even ruling gods like Zeus and Poseidon. The only way to escape them all is to turn herself into something they could never have. Her choices, island or constellation. Prophecy told her to transform into an island, for one day on her banks her sister will give birth to the sun and the moon. When Olympus falls, and it will, she will be waiting for the last of her family, the sanctified place left untouched by gods and by mortal men. Necromancy, Hecate. The inheritance of a lost mother is sometimes soft and sanctified, and sometimes it is loud and litigious in act of rebellion, and this is why her mother gave her to the underworld. Styx was kind. She showed her how to turn dead waters and dark destinies into resurrections and vivid dreams. She learned her alphabet from ghosts and heard bedtime stories from the decaying throats of the dead, and we all know what this kind of nurture does to a girl. Befriender of a runaway nymphs and broken queens of Troy, she guides them into accepting the graceful darkness she wears so easily. When gods fail to defeat giants, she smiles softly at Hades. Your mistake is thinking gods can do a goddess's job. She alchemized the amber yellow of an eternal flame and brought down giant after giant with ease that worried Zeus himself. Everyone thinks death is about endings, but it had always been her guide and teacher. Her black hounds at her heel in every city she visited, cemetery after cemetery full of ghosts eager to meet her. Does a heart that is rotted cease to be called a heart? Is a mortuary truly just a full of dead flesh, or is it simply waiting for you? Hecate, queen of paradox of crossroads, to breathe it into second life again. Magic, Circe. Did the girl choose magic, or does magic choose a girl? An eternal riddle that circles even the fiercest of the divinities. Perhaps magic is the habit of choosing sharp-eyed girls who ask too many questions for their own good. Perhaps it chooses girls who are not unloved, but not fully loved either. Or maybe she calls it to her by being immortal, but rejecting her thick, sweet-smelling ichor and naming herself traitor to her kind. Who needs a sun god's ruthless court of the forever living and bitterly gleaming when one can have an island filled with lions and wolves who adore her for who she is, goddess of herbs or poisons, of turning every man who dares step foot here into pigs. Some of us prefer the lonely to the glittering, the shaded hoods of trees to the constant glare of burning ochre. Why be half a finished poem in some forgotten poet's story when one can be an odyssey in and of herself? Part magic, part villain, part goddess, part lover. Magic aids her turn from defenseless nymph to goddess, deathless majesty of a Titanite, some monarch of an army of sharks and scorpions alike that would die to protect her. My father Oceanus craved terror, drifted in and out of the midnight sea. A shark's mouth became his home for a while, and this is how I was conceived. He met something on his travels, something treacherous and odious, a novelty he had to have, just because he had nothing like it before. When he swam back to Tethys with the baby, my stepmother and sisters recoiled from me. Sharp blue teeth, yellow-eyed like a fury, shaped less nymph, more lice. They made it clear that whatever I was, they did not want me, but my father was enchanted, gave me my own river, told me I was still goddess while they were simply nymphs, refused to let me hear their whispers of monster. Perhaps he should have paid attention to the snakes cold inside me waiting to strike. When Zeus asked for the aid of Titans, this is why I took his side. Whatever mothered me had a cast iron womb from hell. Even Hades knows better than to test me, for it is my waters that the gods swear oaths to, for their eternity or diminishment swells. I am the reason why Semel burned, why Phaethon fell, why a god can never break a pact to another. Some call it madness, I call it balance. One cannot exist without the other. People think Achilles lived by my waters. They are wrong. My waters are what ensured that he would die. You too will meet me one day. My name is Styx, and I am hatred personified.